This video is all about the section of your CFA that is whether or not these two statements, or whether or not the statement is true, if the two sides equal each other or not. The most important thing that you have to show me in this section of the CFA is that you know how to change formats. And what I mean by that is radical symbols can always be changed into fractional exponents. So you need to show me that you can take a radical and make it into a fractional exponent, or you need to show me that you can take a fractional exponent and make it into a radical. You have to be able to show me that you can switch between those two. So let's look at a couple of these problems. The first one says the square root of 32 equals 2 to the 5/2 power. So again, most important thing that you need to show me is that you can switch formats. So for this square root of 32, I need to somehow make it a fractional exponent. So I have the 32, and I need to make a fraction. Well, whatever number is on the outside of the radical, or the index of the radical, needs to go on the bottom of my fraction. If there is no number there, it is automatically a 2. So in this case, I'm going to put a 2 on the bottom of my fraction. Then, to fill up the top of my fraction, I'm going to put a 1. On the other side, the 2 to the 5/2 power, this already is a fractional exponent. So I need to make it a radical. Again, the bottom of my fraction always connects to the index of my radical, or the number that's on the outside of the square root symbol. So I'm going to take this 2 and make it the index of my radical. Anything that's left over is going to go inside of my radical symbol. Now that I've shown that I know how to switch formats, I'm going to type these in my calculator to find decimal approximations for them. So if I type in 32 to the 1/2 power, I get 5.65, approximately. Now, for the other side, if I type in 2 to the 5/2 power, I also get 5.65, approximately. Now, when I look at those two numbers, they're clearly the same. So yes, this statement is true. Let's look at another problem. Again, the most important thing you have to show me is that you know how to switch formats. So here, 16 to the 3/2 power. Right now that is a fractional exponent, so I need to make it a radical. Again, the number on the bottom of my fraction always connects to the number on the outside of my radical symbol. So I'm putting this 2 on the outside of my radical. Anything that's left over goes on the inside of my radical. On the other side, since this is not a fractional exponent, it's a whole number, there's nothing I can really do to change that. It's just going to stay the same. Now I'm going to type these two things into my calculator to get a decimal approximation. And this one actually turns out to not be a decimal. If I type in 16 to the 3/2 power, I get 64. Similarly, if I type in 8 to the power 2, I get 64. When I look at these two, they are clearly the same. So again, yes, this statement is true. Let's look just at one more example before you practice these on your own. Again, most important thing that you need to show me is that you know how to switch formats. On this first side, 2 to the power 8, because this exponent is not a fraction, I cannot change it. So I'm just going to bring this 2 to the power 8 down. On the other side, however, I need to break down these parentheses. The first thing I'm going to do is change what's inside the parentheses. Well, right now this is a radical symbol, so I need to make it into a fractional exponent. So I'm going to have the 16 and I need to make a fraction. Remember, the number outside of your radical symbol always connects to the bottom of your fraction, and then I'm going to fill up the top with the number 1. This original 6 that was on the outside, I'm going to bring it down and keep it outside of the parentheses. Now, to get my decimal approximation, I can go ahead and type this in my calculator. I am first going to type in 16 to the 1/3 power, and that gives me 2.52. I'm going to keep that in parentheses, and again, just bring this outside 6 down, because I haven't used that 6 yet. Now I'm going to type in the rest of this into my calculator to finish getting my decimal approximation. And I get 256.09. Now, the other side I have not typed in my calculator yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do 2 to the 8th power. And that gives me 256. Now, when I look at these two numbers, they're very close to each other, just that this side has a decimal that this side doesn't. Well, those still aren't quite the same numbers. So I have to go ahead and say that no, this is not a true statement.